I think a lot of you grew up watching Tales from the Crypt, or maybe it's Saturday morning series, Tales from the Crypt Keeper. Well, even after both those shows came to an end, old Crypty got himself a game show that ran on CBS. That would air on Saturday mornings, and usually that would be for a Saturday morning TV law. But since I've done two kids' game shows that did air on Saturday mornings, on this series, I thought I'd go ahead and do this one, especially for Spook-tacular October. So prepare yourselves for Secrets of the Crypt Keeper's Haunted House today on the Wide World of Game Shows. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews presents Wide World of Game Shows. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and to all you boils and gargoyles out there. Welcome to the Wide World of Game Show, the fun-filled series created by me exclusively for Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Well, I've decided to come with a special episode, and it's on a very underrated, possibly forgotten game show from Saturday mornings, and it featured the Crypt Keeper himself. In a game that kind of feels like you're experiencing maybe Funhouse or maybe some other kind of kids game show all over again, but in a different way. Prepare yourselves, cause I bring to you in this episode Secrets of the Crypt Keeper's Haunted House. Secrets of the Crypt Keeper's Haunted House was a spooktacularly fun kids game show that originally premiered on CBS Saturday mornings in September of 1996, and it only ran for one season. Now, this show was also the last TV series in the Tales from the Crypt series. It was taped at Universal Studios, Florida, and John Kassir once again reprises his role of old Crypty. It was created by Ethan Keller and Jack Wool. Keller also served as director, and the host of the game was Steve Saunders. Now then, it was produced by Keller Productions, the Wool Company, Tales from the Crypt Productions, and Goldwyn Entertainment Company, which of course was part of the Samuel Goldwyn Company, this being another game of theirs after American Gladiators. The show actually received a Daytime Emmy for Outstanding Game Show, but lost to The Price is Right. And it was one of only two children's game shows to be nominated in this category. To be followed by Brain Search in 2012, and the series was replaced 3 weeks later by Wheel 2000 the following year. Anyway, now in each episode, two teams of kids, one team wearing red shirts and the other wearing black shirts, and both teams usually named for a creature commonly perceived as scary. For example, beasts versus vermin, competed in 5 events. 4 of the events were a constant, with the 5th one varying from one week to the next. Now, one of the events is Fireball Alley. It had one member of each team defending a set of 6 headstones from the fireballs, which they were dodgeballs, which were shot by a computer-generated skull named Digger, voiced by Danny Mann. Aside from defending the headstones, the player had to keep from being knocked off the very unstable bridge and being vaporized. Don't worry, you don't get hurt. It's just via CGI effects and appearing to explode. For each headstone that remained, you would be put to a little bit of a pop quiz. Digger would give you a list of 4 items. These would be things in common. And for each list that the team identified the common bond, the team got 5 points for a possible total of 30 if they kept all 6 headstones set. If all the headstones were knocked over, the round was ended and the player could not score 8 points, and though they would not be vaporized either. Another next one was the Warminator. This was usually the second round, required both players to cross a wind tunnel while exchanging balls at 3 strategic points. Any dropped balls would be vaporized, as were any players that fell off the platform, though that ended the round and no longer in play. At the end of the tunnel was a pair of bins. Every ball deposited in either bin netted the team 10 points. If all 3 balls were dropped, or if the team did not deposit any balls in the bins within the time limit, which was 35 seconds, both teammates were vaporized. If at any time the team fails to exchange balls at any one of the strategic points, they will be disqualified. Now, another game, this was always in the third round, the Incredible Shrinking Room. It required teams to find the missing letter in each of 6 words on a wall within 40 seconds. The category for the list was the same for both teams and was told to the home audience by Digger. They needed to collect the appropriate tiles and place them in the proper slots and shout out the word at the very top of the list. However, the wall and ceiling would close in on the team with several seconds remaining, thus making it important to get all of the words beforehand. Each correctly spelled word was worth 5 points, but if they saw all 6 and shouted out the word at the top of the list before the time expired, they received an additional 10 points for a possible total of 40 points. Next was the Swamp from Hell, which was an occasional stand-in for Warminator. One player started outside the house, jumping on a trampoline in an effort to grab skulls off hooks for 15 seconds. Each skull snatched meant that one bag of skulls was placed on a platform by a CGI lava pit. On the other side of the lava pit was another platform, and the two were bridged by a balance beam. When the player stepped on a platform, they had a minute to transport as many of the bags of skulls to the other platform as possible, earning 5 points for each one. The player could make as many trips as needed. Falling out the balance beam at any point will vaporize the player, ending the round, though the team still get to keep the points. In addition, as the 60-second time limit countdown, a cage containing the player's teammate lowered towards the lava pit. If time ran out before all of the bags were across, the teammate in the cage would reach the lava pit and be vaporized. Now there were, let's see, 1, 2, 3. There were 4 different fourth round games. Ghost Battle, which required only one player from each team to compete. They met up with Digger, now with a full skeleton body, to engage in a 90-second joust. However, the player needed to strike the skeleton's shield to score. If a player made 5 hits on the shield, the skeleton would fly up into the air with an explosion, and the player scored 5 points. Presumably falling off the platform would vaporize the player, though no players ever fell off. Digger never actively struck at the player to try to force him back, however. Then there was the Abyss. They had one member of the team attempt to scale a cliff littered with numbers with the aid of 3 rope ladders. The other team member feeds the player up to 5 questions with numerical answers to the one on the cliff, who then tries to negotiate his or her way to the right number and press the button next to it. Each right answer earns 5 points. The sound goes for 90 seconds or until the player on the cliff falls off the ladders and is vaporized, although the team would still keep their points, or when all 5 questions are used up. The maximum point total was 25 points. On a couple of occasions, this was the second sound, and the Warminator took the fourth round slot. Next is the Endless Hallway, required one player to walk on the equivalent of a treadmill for 75 seconds. It was this player's job to walk through the hall and take note of the various items encountered. The teammate waiting outside was presented with 5 different match game style blanks to fill in. Upon being told what item was encountered in the hallway, it was the teammate's job to match the item to the corresponding blank to score 5 points. And the other Vampire's Lair. It called for both players to compete. One player went into a room which would light up via strobe lights for a few seconds and go dark. Then the player outside would guide the player in the room to the middle of the room by looking at a video feed from a night vision camera. In the middle of the room was a switch that, when thrown, would awaken the vampire. Each team had a minute and 45 seconds to reach the switch, and the team that used less time to wake the vampire would receive 20 points. If neither team reached the vampire, however, no points were awarded. Note, in one occasion, time ran out on a team despite the player activating the lights on the vampire a few seconds later. Once we get through all four events, they go to the fifth and final round, which is skullduggery. One member of each team entered the haunted house one last time in search of skulls. The players will usually search four or five rooms: the Master Dead Room, the Mummy's Tomb, the Hall of Horror, and the Dungeon. The Creepatorium comes between the Hall of Horror and Dungeon on some occasions. When the buzzer sounded, they had to move on to the next room. After all the rooms were searched, they had to race out of the house and, with the help of their teammates, stack all the skulls onto a large skewer. The first team to stack enough skulls to fill their skewer, or failing that, the team that found the most skulls won 50 points. If both teams have the same number of skulls, whoever completed their skewer faster won the point. In most cases, the 50 points was enough to win the game. But of course, there are no losers on the game. The winning team received the new Macintosh computer from Apple. The runners up would receive the current edition of Grolier's New Book of Knowledge encyclopedia set. I don't know how many episodes were produced and aired, but anyway, if you're a fan of Tales from the Crypt, or if you really like something really fun and what have you, or if you're into games like maybe, oh, I don't know, Funhouse or Double Dare, or maybe Finders Keepers, or heck, even Legends of the Hidden Temple, then I think you'll like Secrets of the Crypt Keeper's Haunted House. I feel like this is an underrated game show and what have you for kids, but I think you'll really like it if you give it a try. There are some episodes on YouTube. One episode's in two parts, however, but others are in their entirety. Two of them were actually put up a couple of years ago from their original studio masters on the channel Host at Home. Again, look up Secrets of the Crypt Keeper's Haunted House. I think you'll really like it. If you give this show a try, you're gonna get a real good fright from it and what have you. Definitely. Mm-hmm. Yep. Let me give you a little look at one of the games. Here's a look at one player going up against Digger the Skull in Fireball Alley. And here's a look at a shot from the Worminator. The rest I can let you see for yourself once you find this here series. Anyway, again, you can find a few episodes on YouTube. Not too many. There are 6 episodes. One of them's in 2 parts, but the other 5 are in their entirety, and a couple of them are from their original studio masters. So anyway, give this show a try. I think you'll really like it. So what did you think of Secrets of the Crypt Keeper's Haunted House? Did you ever see this show? If you have, let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And stay tuned. Tonight I'll be giving you my review of Scary Movie 3. So if you like this, consider checking out my Saturday morning, maybe not Saturday morning TV logs, but I'll tell you, you can see the Saturday morning TV log idea on Tales from the Crypt Keeper, because that was one of my first TV logs in the bottom left-hand corner. But in the upper left and right-hand corners are the other kids' game shows from Saturday mornings that I did. In the upper left-hand corner is the episode on this show's replacement, Wheel 2000. In the upper right-hand corner is the episode on Jep, the kids' version of Jeopardy! In the bottom right-hand corner is a button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., as well as the Wide World game shows, then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching, and Wide World game shows will be back sometime. I don't know when, possibly sometime down the road. Details to follow. So until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.